Food is nothing more than fuel for your body. Because it feels like it's so hard, we want to make it very simple. And understanding that food really is, at some point in time, every single thing you eat is going to become an organ. Right now, your eyes are probably partially Fruit Loops. So your eyes are like that, your skin's like that, your heart, your lungs. 200 children were autopsied, and 10%, and you'll actually see it on this one here, 10% of ages 2 to 15, when they look at the coronary arteries, which are the arteries that wrap around the heart, already had plaquing in the arteries. So when you think about the idea of plaquing in the arteries, that's arteriosclerosis. And of course, when we think about arteriosclerosis, what is that? Heart disease. And then you go into the American Academy of Pediatrics, and right now the American Academy of Pediatrics says, oh, well, if there's the signs of heart disease, of arteriosclerosis, what do you think their answer is going to be to help that? Cholesterol medication, starting at 8 years old. Now, who wants to do that to their child? Every single thing you put in your mouth, whether good or bad, has a result. So it's either going to be a good, healthy heart cell or a dangerous heart cell. When you look at how much time a child sits behind a screen or in front of a screen, so you have to understand that movement creates life. And now we've gotten into a state here because we're not moving well enough that we're now beginning to over-medicate. Only 0.5% of the entire children's population of France has a diagnosis of ADHD. In the United States, 19% of children really under the age of 15 have the diagnosis of ADHD. And it's simply because of how we look at our kids. The American Academy of Pediatrics teaches our psychiatrists and physicians to look at ADHD as a biological disorder. French doctors are trained in the exact same process, but what they do, instead of looking at it only as a biological disorder, they look at it as a psychosocial disorder. So they understand that the process of this ADHD is coming from so many more things than just brain chemistry. Methylphenidate is Adderall or Ritalin, okay? They're put in the same exact category. That has risen 700% since 1990. The overall increase of antidepressants has increased almost 600% just since 1995 in women ages 18 to 36. But where a lot of this comes from is exactly what moms are doing to try and take care of kids, all the busyness that goes involved with it, but more importantly, they're eating the same thing that the kids are eating. So if you're giving your child something healthy, what are you going to be doing? Usually eating something healthy. But when there's all this busyness going on over here, soccer games and gymnastics, and then you go from gymnastics to soccer. So what happens to your time and availability of making healthy foods? It's next to nothing. So where do you find yourself? In McD's and Chick-fil-A and all these specters. If it's been a while since you've flown, you have to remember what they go through when they go through the airline attendant sits there and says, if there's a loss of cabin pressure, there's masks that are going to drop from the ceiling, make sure you put who's on first. Put your own on first, because if you can't take care of yourself, what can you do for the people around you? So the same process goes when we look at the overall identification of health itself. You have to make sure that as parents, we're taking care of ourselves first. Put your mask on first, because healthy parents equal healthy kids. Unhealthy parents equal what? Unhealthy kids. You look at the process of obesity. Look at mom or dad. And then you almost get the chance to see right away what happens to the children. If there's a big enough why, you'll endure any how. If you understand what it takes to make your children healthy, you'll do whatever it takes to keep them that way. But because we know where health comes from, it comes from the inside. There's a power that's inside you that keeps you healthy and strong. Because we know that, we have to make sure that we feed that. So what are you feeding? Health or disease? What's the food that's going into your body? Healthy food or dangerous food? If you keep feeding that body nothing but pizza, mac and cheese, McDonald's, all these things every single day, all the time, what is that body doing? It's getting worse and worse and worse. Here is the 30-day challenge. But you have to figure out, number one, what your why is. Any why that's big enough can help you endure any how. Your why has to be bigger than you. And it goes through a weekly process. Week 1, start in the kitchen. Okay, start identifying where toxins are inside the kitchen. Week 2, do a little bit more. Okay, and then that's when we start looking at what the good healthy snack ideas are. This page right here is ideal for every single parent, and I give you 100% permission to email this out to every single parent you guys know, because these snacks that are listed on here, the front and the back here, these snacks are ideal to put in morning and afternoon snacks for kids.